Nah, I wouldn't skip this part if I were you, because, do you want to win a Dart Zone Pro Mark III completely for free? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Follow me on Instagram at WalcommS7, and I will tell you exactly how, October 1st, you can win your very own Dart Zone Pro Mark III, and it's incredibly easy to enter. And now we'll get to the good stuff. Not really a whole lot of fanfare here because there's a lot we have to talk about. It's time to go pro. This is my first time actually being able to, like, touch it. And I'm gonna take it out of the box, and I can only do that once, so I'm probably filming this days ahead of time after I've had it for probably several other days, getting super hyped about it. Blaster, adjustable stock, mag adapter, iPro, good addition. Short dart mag over long dart mag, and darts, both short and long. Batteries, of course, are not included, and you'll need a staggering 8 AA batteries. And if you want to power the red dot sight, you're going to need an additional 2 AAA batteries. Of course, I'm excited for the big bad blaster and the sight. I kind of want to see what that's about, but oh. All right, well, grip fits my hand comfortably. Red trigger's fine. I kind of wish it was that double trigger design that we kind of get with the Spectrum and the corner fire, but still not bad. That's interesting. It's select fire, but I'm manually pulling the trigger, and it's really snappy and springy. Adjustable stock, there is rubber on the butt plate, rubber on the grip. Okay, yeah, that's super, super comfortable. No problems there. It is a pretty thick boy blaster. That's definitely a different flywheel setup and a bit more crush than I'm used to seeing on a stock blaster. Picatinny rail, Picatinny rails. Of course, the stock is just another AR-15 style buffer tube, so it should work perfectly fine with any airsoft or even real steel accessories that fit that market. Select fire switch is only on one side. It does feel like it's got a little bit of a spring going on with it, but it is not ambidextrous, so that's your lot. If you're left-handed, I don't think that'll be much of a problem. You just have to probably use your trigger finger. We aren't gonna mess around this time. Energizer Mags. The mag adapter is the pretty typical one that you get with all of the Dart Zone Pro products. Mags have got a slight curve to them, and they almost look like katana hilts. That's pretty cool. That's, of course, your full-length mag. It is compatible with both, which is super interesting. The sight reads covert ops on the side of it, but it is, in fact, a kind of pseudo red dot looking optic that does take 2 AAA batteries. iPro is a super smart move from Dart Zone. I know none of the other blasters, I think, come with iPro, and they probably should because they usually cost pennies. Quite honestly, these are pretty cheap, but they fit perfectly fine. I did all of that without the shotgun mic on, son of a... 1 and 2. So is this just a red LED, or is it something a little bit better? I mean, it's just a red LED, and of course it's completely non-adjustable, but it honestly looks pretty okay. All right, enough dilly-dallying. I want to kind of figure out how this thing works. This is a big battery door, so if this thing does get modified, it's got plenty of room for a LiPo. In fact, I want to almost say that I think Dart Zone thought of this, because if I just take this one screw out, yep, that's kind of cool. Remove one screw. You know, I joked that they were gonna do this. They actually did it. you can just throw a LiPo into it. That's huge. That's incredible. I was kind of hoping they would do that, but my heart said that was never going to happen. That is exactly what just happened. But of course, first, now that we don't have to do any actual modification to run this off a LiPo, although I guess this is going to be a 3S, we need to load it up with actual AA batteries. That is sick. I am so happy about that. All right. That's not bad. That's a pretty quick rev up time. Huh. Okay. Here's the scary part. What's the full auto like? Will it full auto without me having any kind of mag in there? That's not a bad rate of fire. It's still super interesting how it does that. Because when it's in semi-auto, you're physically pulling the trigger, but when it's in full auto, I was actually kind of worried. I mean, that's not super fast. It could probably be double that speed and be more than usable, but that's not bad at all. And I do like these colors of darts. These should be insanely visible. It should be almost impossible to lose them. The darts that the Mark III comes with are the bamboo darts we've seen before in the Dart Zone Pro line. However, they don't have the Adventure Force Pro head. They have the head from the Max darts we see at Target. So I don't know if this is the new step forward or just what they're doing with this blaster, but nice change. You know, 15 darts. I have it on semi-auto. My first shots with the Dart Zone Pro Mark III. So of course these things basically are useless. They are not stable in flight whatsoever because they are far too long. Of course, this is why you shouldn't even bother with full-length darts anymore, Dart Zone. Let's use the included short dart mag and just go from there, because this is really the only thing you should be using. I should point out, I have these lovely pink Talon mags from foamblastshop.com, and they work perfectly fine. So your existing magazines should be no problem whatsoever. So now, that's how we remove our magazine. All right. Now it's time to see this with short darts. Much better. Much, much better. Way more stable in flight. We're gonna go to full auto. Biggest concern with this blaster right now is how good that full auto fire rate is. Obviously, not the fastest, but maybe I'm a little just hyped. That seemed perfectly usable to me. It could be a tad bit faster. I feel it is possible for you to not be able to land your shots if you were shooting at a running target, but that was still not too bad. Now, it was said that this thing shot 2 darts per second. My chronograph will hopefully be able to tell us the actual rate of fire on this blaster. And also, I mean, we want to see what this thing's hitting on 8 AA batteries. So let's do exactly that and chronograph this beast. And then of course after that we'll slap a LiPo into it since I've already done the review, and of course, see what the improvements are. So first, full length darts. Short dart time. So most of those weird shots were either the two darts that are kind of misshapen that I put in here anyway, or because it's kind of hard to aim the triangular muzzle into the, you know, circle hole. So that's still really freaking good, especially on AA batteries. The real question is, how is the rate of fire? All right, short darts again. I'm using the actual max darts now, so I have fresh darts for this test. But basically, we're just going to see if the FPS changes because it's on full auto, and also we're going to see if we can actually get this rounds per minute thing to work. So let's find out. Full auto! Not the fastest, definitely not the slowest. Could definitely be better though, but as we already know, it's gonna get better. All right, so thankfully this time we actually have a sight. I don't know how accurate this thing is to the actual barrel. We're gonna find that out really quick, but I'm basically just gonna put the dot on the target. I'm gonna do one round of it being semi-auto, and then I'm gonna do one mag dump full auto to see if there's any differences in the accuracy whatsoever. So let's see what this baby can do when it comes to accuracy. Way low. I have to aim at the very top of the target using this sight. I mean, one of those is from when I first shot the target. I hit it very, you know, the bottom right corner, but it's not a terrible grouping. I mean, for a flywheeler anyway, and these are not super fresh darts. Let's see what it does in full auto. Obviously drooped down a little bit because it's full auto. It's going to have less velocity because there's not enough time for those wheels to spin up in between every single shot, but still a really good grouping. That's actually fantastic if you get rid of the one outlier. Whew! I mean, it's not going to compare to a Springer. Your Nexus Pro and everything's still going to be more accurate than this, but for a flywheeler, that's pretty good. We're going to do training one. Got a Tachi mag here, almost full. And I have a backup mag instead of that, so let's see what we can do here in terms of actual practice with this thing.
Stand by.
Can't even complete it, but it's a flywheeler. It's not really meant for pinpoint accuracy. Kind of expected. Most of it at that point is just luck. Alrighty, got a break in the rain. Let's see what this thing can do, starting off with full-length darts. That was actually on full auto. I was doing single shots on that. That was mostly flat, maybe a tiny bit of an angle, not even a heavy angle. Some of those darts hit 100 feet flat. That's impressive. So, now let's try the darts that actually matter, short darts. See what we can get with those. I'm gonna switch it to single shot this time. Maybe give it a slight bit of an angle. That is very impressive from AA batteries to clear 100 feet like it was nothing with a foam dart. That is absolutely nutty. So at this point, I feel like all of my worries about this blaster are done. I thought it was going to have a horrendously slow spin up time. I was worried about the rate of fire. It's very easy to single shot darts off of it, and it's only like a little above 3 darts a second, which is not great. It's okay, but we're dealing with AA batteries here, and we'll talk about that. The spin up time for the AA batteries is pretty good, in my opinion, and honestly, this is a blaster that I could see a lot of people wanting to pick up, even if you're someone like me who has so many 3D printed blasters, flywheelers that go in every single possible configuration. I don't have to worry about carry-on lipos and stuff like that. There's some good stuff to love about with the Dart Zone Mark III, and I give it a really glowing recommendation. I think for 130 bucks, what you get, it is a fantastic deal if you're looking to step up your flywheel game, and honestly, this is one of the easiest ways to get into that high-end flywheel stuff. Where this video goes from a solid recommendation to an absolute complete recommendation for everybody depends on what happens when I put a lipo in here. I have shot every other part of this footage, and at this point, hopefully, this is kind of like the stopgap before anything else and not the end of the video. 3S graphene lipo. Even with that small of a lipo, it's a bit tight. We'll just leave that off. And my most important question, how's the full auto? Not a whole lot better. In fact, it might be identical. But let's take it over the chronograph, see what happens with the 3S lipo in it. So I very much encourage you, if you're interested in the idea of using a lipo in this blaster with stock everything, that you check out some of the other reviews on this blaster, because I'm sure this will send to other people and not just me. Because my performance when I put a lipo into mine was bad. Actually worse than the AA's. Now the rate of fire did increase by about 25%, which isn't much when it's already like 3.5 darts a second. But my actual performance velocity-wise did poorly. Most darts couldn't even break 150, many were 90 to 100, and I had full-length darts that were coming out like pretty much backwards. Not great. And I don't know if that was just mine. I tried different darts, I tried different batteries. I did not try a 2S lipo because it's supposed to be a 3S setup, but maybe I'm just doing something wrong. If I had to have a theory, the flywheels that are in this are similar to like the old worker serrated flywheels. There might not be enough stuff gripping the dart on those flywheels in order to actually give it that boost in performance. That's my idea. There's less contact area on the dart between those flywheels. That's my theory, but I still really am impressed with the performance I'm getting on this blaster when it comes to AA batteries. It does require 8 of them, but the performance is very good, at least with fresh batteries. I don't know how well it's going to do with those batteries once they get to lower voltages, but it still works really good. So I guess you could say that this is the perfect blaster for somebody who wanted to hit 150 FPS semi-auto using just stock AA batteries. If you wanted full auto, you're probably going to be really disappointed, but it can do it. And if you wanted to just not have to worry about it, just hold it up and let it go, it does do that. It's just not very great at it. If you wanted to use a lipo with it, it has the option and it definitely has a future, but right now I couldn't tell you how well it would perform without probably at least new flywheels. Maybe it hits 200 FPS. I have no idea. I didn't get to test it at this point, but I'm sure somebody else will. For $130, you get quite a bit with this blaster. It feels pretty darn good, and I'm sure people are going to love it, and this entire point of this video is, well, pointless. Even somebody like me who has more blasters than I pretty much know what to do with, there's a niche with this because it's the only flywheeler I have that hits 150 FPS off AA batteries, and for that, I give it a glowing recommendation. Really, the only things that I'm super disappointed about are the fact that it's still a full-length blaster. I mean, Dart Zone Mark II only took short darts and we didn't really care. So why does the Dart Zone Pro Mark III take full lengths? Doesn't need to. just makes the blaster longer for no reason, because most people who are going to shoot at the velocities this thing shoots at aren't going to be using those full-length darts. But that's all I've got for you. I'm Wacom7. Thank you very much for watching this video. Chances are, if you got to the end, you like what we do here, so please hit like, leave a comment down below, get subscribed, because we have a lot more content coming for you. A lot more content. I have some really cool stuff to show you by the end of this week. You're not going to want to miss it. And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different video.
You gotta